Hello everyone, welcome to Harry's Book Cafe. Today let's talk about King's latest short story collection, You Like It Darker. Hello everyone, welcome to Harry's Book Cafe. Stephen King, I guess, is the author that needs no introduction whatsoever. I think all horror fans will have read one of his books previously. Now, You Like It Darker is the latest short story collection that was published sort of early mid 2024, and it has been voted by readers to be the best horror novel of 2024. So I thought I'd better pick it up and see what all the fuss is all about. Whoa, what's going on? Right, what did you do? Right, okay. It contains 12 stories. Here I will be a little bit critical. Now, you see, all of those 12 stories, I'm afraid to say that vast majority of those stories are mediocre at best. And if I have to be honest, some of them are downright weird. However, having said that, it does contain one or two really amazing stories that it's well worth picking up the whole book for. Now, out of those 12 stories, I really like Danny Coughlin's Bad Dream. This also happened to be the longest story in the collection. To call it short story might be a little bit misunderstanding because it's actually 170 pages long. So a novella almost, or a small novel almost. In this story, it really talks about innocent man Danny had a really vivid dream where he dreamt where a murder victim's body was buried. Now, unlike any other dream that he had, when he woke up, the image of his dream was still present. So he decided, out of curiosity, to check whether or not the body is there. To his horror, the body was actually where he dreamt it. He then called the police and then being accused as the murderer because no detective actually believed he dreamed of this location. Now, when I read this story, and I believe many readers have a similar experience, is that we desperately want Danny to be cleared of his name. Want the detective to back off. And there's lots of frustrations and enragement that you just want Danny to be okay. Now, whether or not he does in the end, I'll let you read the story to find out. The other really awesome story, and this one is much shorter, about 30 pages max, and that is on Slide in Row. Now, this short story, to me, is also the most violent of all these short story collections, and I absolutely enjoyed it. The main protagonist is a most unlikely hero that you would encounter in a literary world, and is so violent, I just absolutely love it. Beyond that, I won't say any more because I want you to enjoy the story yourself. The other really quite interesting one is the last one, The Answer Man. This involves a man that almost have a psychic power that can really predict your future to say yes or no about a question that you might ask. That is really fascinating as well-written story. Out of all this, however, I do have to point out Rattlesnakes, which happened to be the second longest story in this collection, perhaps is the most creepy of all the collections. I mean, to be honest, this book isn't that scary, but Rattlesnake really have that element of creepiness, especially in the beginning of the story, that I really enjoyed. So these are the 4 stories that I really enjoyed for different reasons, for violence, for creepiness, for downright frustrations, for clear of innocent men. Really awesome collection. These 4 stories that I just mentioned are absolutely well worth a reading. I absolutely love those 4 stories, in fact, for different reasons. But overall, I should say, apart from these 4, the rest of the book is really mediocre. Hi guys, I forgot to mention, there is also an afterword that Stephen King has written. Now, like all King's afterwords, they are really worth a read, especially if you are a aspiring writers. King really opens a window and allows you to peek through his mind, behind the scene, behind the curtain work of how his story came into being. Absolutely recommended for the afterword alone. However, I do think that we are now in October, second week of October, and I think that will be a really good companion for the creepy season. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please give it a thumb up and subscribe and share it with your friends. and I shall bring you another horror story in the next episode. Take care, guys.